Compression and sustainability. What is the difference? Sustainability is the possibility that humans and other life will flourish on Earth forever. Ehrenfeld defines sustainability from a broad perspective, and this provides us with a great description of the future we need to create. And to create this future, society, organizations, and individuals will need to make substantial changes. Ehrenfeld's definition doesn't tell us how to get started or what to focus on. We're going to talk about how others have approached getting started and how compression attempts to focus these efforts. One reason an organization may struggle on starting is that sustainability is just one of many terms that relate to an organization's social and environmental efforts. Let's start by looking at one of the more common uses in business, the triple bottom line, which includes metrics relating to profit, people, and the planet. While measures of financial success are fairly standard, measuring an organization's societal and environmental impact are relatively new. They could include philanthropy, creating jobs, recycling, LEED certified buildings, as well as many other measures. And these are all good things. Now let's examine the triple bottom line success story of a fictitious automaker. Murata Autos publicly announced their sustainability initiative when they introduced a hybrid version of their R4 sports sedan. And the success of the R4 hybrid was the focus of their first annual sustainability report. Focusing on the triple bottom line, they were able to report increased sales, a higher stock price, and the new model led to the creation of hundreds of new jobs. They donated dozens of hybrid vehicles to charities and nonprofits, and employee volunteering and donations increased. They also increased their overall miles per gallon of their vehicles, led by the new R4 hybrid. And they had several other successful green initiatives, such as a company-wide recycling program. While they're making good and honest effort, sustainability requires digging deeper into your organization's DNA and questioning how you currently define success. For most organizations, success is focused primarily on financial performance, and they view customer satisfaction and even philanthropy as a way to improve their brand and drive sales. And the same goes for environmental programs. And for some organizations, their environmental efforts are reactive, not proactive, often in response to governmental regulations. As we'll show, profit is an important aspect of doing business, but focusing on selling more stuff, even hybrid vehicles, doesn't help create sustainability. For starters, increasing miles per gallon by 50% is the same as reducing gasoline use by 33%, but increasing sales by 50% cancels out this gain in gasoline used. This might still seem better if people are choosing to purchase this vehicle over purchasing a vehicle with much lower miles per gallon. But the world is finite, which means that even if all vehicles sold throughout the world average 100 miles per gallon, we'll eventually run out of resources required to build and operate them. Selling more cars also means more traffic, which wastes resources and decreases overall quality of life. Hybrid vehicle batteries require mining rare earth metals. And now you've just substituted one finite resource for another one, and we cannot substitute our way out of the challenges that society faces. And as businesses continue to grow, they need more roads, more power plants, and more stores to sell their stuff. And this impacts previously undisturbed ecosystems, and no one wants any of this in their own backyard. We also cannot ignore the global unrest due in part to the increasing income disparity between upper management and employees. And the triple bottom line doesn't address this disparity. So defining sustainability as a triple bottom line can help organizations like Murata Autos do a lot of great things. But the triple bottom line doesn't tell the whole story. As Ehrenfeld states, reducing unsustainability, although critical, will not create sustainability. So what will create sustainability? As we just showed you, the triple bottom line metrics can gauge our progress if used within a broader context, but they can also fool us into using the same growth-based business model and then substituting materials in our products and services and calling them green. And there still isn't agreement on where to get started and what to focus on. Compression attempts to fill these gaps. Compression is the art and science of improving quality of life while greatly reducing resource use and eliminating toxins. Doing better with less. In a finite world, doing better with less means everyone must focus on resource reduction, which is why we've set the following global challenge. By 2040, globally develop a quality of life somewhat like industrial societies today, but using less than half the virgin raw materials and less than half the energy as in the year 2000, and with no known toxic releases. This more explicit focus on reducing resource use is one of the reasons for introducing the term compression. And to help people understand the compression concepts, we've organized them into 3 categories: why, what, and how. These are covered in much more detail on our website, so we'll just introduce them briefly here, starting with why. So why do we need to do better with less? The case for compression addresses society's complex challenges, which we've grouped into 4 broad categories, including the Earth's finite supply of resources and how we're approaching those limits, human activity's many unintended and unknown ecological and biological effects, our excessive consumption that's unhealthy for people and the planet, and growth and inequality that has led to an increasing level of global unrest. These challenges are complex and interrelated, but by reducing our total resource use, we can begin to reduce our size and scope. So now we know why we need to reduce resource use. The next question is, what do we need to change to do better with less? First, we need to start thinking differently, and this new thinking needs to lead to changes in the way we run our organizations. Your organization needs to move from focusing on profit first, then customer satisfaction, and finally adhering to environmental regulations, and instead think about how your organization is part of the physical world and how you exist to improve people's quality of life. Profit then becomes a design requirement. It's necessary for doing business, but not why you exist. Organizations must also begin to think about the entire life cycle of their products and services. So how do we make the necessary changes in our organizations to really do better with less? By striving to create vigorous learning organizations. The vigorous learning organization concepts were not imagined out of thin air. They're an amalgamation of best practices seen in companies over a 25-year period, and they'll help your organization compress its learning cycles, which will improve your ability to adapt to the rapidly changing and complex challenges that we all face. Vigorous learning organizations have meta-vision, a common mission and goals, rigorous learning systems, behavior for learning, and servant leadership, all of which are covered in more detail on our website. Society faces complex challenges that can be reduced in size and scope by doing better with less. Doing better with less will require changes in the way we think and how we run our organizations. To do this, we need to strive to create vigorous learning organizations. So that's an overview of compression, and we're now ready to answer the initial question: what's the difference or the relationship between compression and sustainability? Sustainability is about the future we want to create. The triple bottom line helps identify categories of metrics to gauge our progress. And compression reminds us that these categories are not all equal. And it focuses our efforts on reducing resource use through vigorous learning, which will then clear the path for organizations to begin asking deeper questions, such as, what are we doing to contribute to the overall quality of life? I hope this has helped explain the difference and relationship between compression and sustainability. Thanks for listening, and please visit our website for more information.